करो।
Good evening. Good evening, one and all. After 1 week gap, we are here to hear new topic on flatworm. Since last year, we are organizing webinars on environment and biodiversity related topics. After the successful completion of first series, we are here for second series of biodiversity webinar. This is our ninth webinar on biodiversity under series 2. 18th December, the last lecture will be held under this series 2 and it will be complete. Department of Botany, Government General Degree College, Lalgড়, Jhargram, West Bengal, and Department of Botany, Shiva Bharati Mahavidyalaya, Kapgari, Jhargram, West Bengal, in collaboration with the NGO, are organizing these webinars. Myself, Dr. Pompey Ghosh, Head of the Department of Botany, Shiva Bharati Mahavidyalaya, Kapgari, Jhargram, is happy to announce today's program in brief. Shantanambika, MS, PhD scholar, PhD research scholar, Department of Zoology, Avinashi Lingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, will introduce our today's resource person, Dr. R. Sirsagar, Associate Professor of Zoology, Modern College, Pune. Then after a discussion session, then Dr. Das, our organizing secretary of this webinar, head of the Department of Botany, Lalgড় General Degree College, Lalgড়, will announce next program, and then vote of thanks will be given by Dr. Rajni Gautam, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Zoology, Career College, Bhopal. So I am requesting Shantanambika for introducing our resource person.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to one and all present here. I am Shantanambika. I take this as an opportunity and it's my privilege to introduce today's resource person, Dr. Ravindra Shivsagar, sir. Sir is serving as an associate professor in the Department of Zoology, Modern College, Ganeshkin, Pune. Sir has a teaching experience of more than 20 years at undergraduate level and 15 years at postgraduate level. Sir is a recognized MPhil and PhD guide in zoology of Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Under his guidance, 4 researchers have been awarded PhD and 4 students are pursuing. Sir has published 4 textbooks for undergraduate students. Sir is also a member of Board of Studies, Maharashtra State Board Education. He has guided nearly about 300 teachers in various teacher training programs. Recently, he has been awarded with National Level Best Innovative Teacher Award from National Academy of Science India and Savitribai Phule, Pune University. With this brief introduction, I humbly request Dr. Ravindra Shivsagar, sir, to deliver his lecture on the topic Diversity and Dynamics of Planarian Regeneration. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. At the outset, I express my heartfelt gratitude towards Das sir. He has invited me as a resource person in this webinar. So, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude towards all colleagues and the botany department from Jharkhand College, West Bengal. So, I'm thankful to all of the colleagues. Here, a little bit raining is there. I'm shifting from one laptop to another laptop. So by that time, I request my researcher, Mrs. Mithila, that she will explain a little bit about the dynamics of planaria. I will just join within 5 minutes. So I request Mithila.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So little bit due to heavy raining and the network problem. So Mithila, please kindly
let me start or let me begin just by introducing myself. I am Mithila Milin Chansarkar, Assistant Professor in Modern College of Arts, Science, Commerce, Ganeshki in Pune, and I am a research student of Dr. Ravindra Shirasagar, and I am currently working on the dynamics of planarian research and the molecular aspects of the regeneration in planaria. So, firstly, I will just introduce you to this organism and the concept of the regeneration. Okay, so the flatworms, they generally belong to the class Turbellaria of the phylum Platyhelminthes, and they are well known for their amazing regenerative capacity. So, firstly, we will just start with what exactly is regeneration. So, regeneration is the ability to respond to the injury or to succumb to the whatever injury or accidental damage which is caused to the organism and to restore the tissue integrity of the multicellular organism. So that is generally the regeneration. If any part of the planaria, if it is lost, the planaria has the ability to develop into an entire organism or develop that part. So that is generally the regenerative capacity of the planaria. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So, um, as we all know, human body, it regenerates, and it doesn't regenerate, but it has capability. It has billion new cells, which there are various stem cells which are formed every day in humans, and regeneration in the mammals, it occurs up to some degree in humans, in heart, skeleton, muscle, bone, and liver. So humans, they also have the ability to completely recapitulate the original tissue in response to any injury. So this ability is not present in the adult humans. It is present in the primitive or the embryological stages only. So, this phenomenon of regeneration, it has puzzled the researchers for centuries now. So, the regeneration pattern, the signaling which is present, or the cell signaling, or the molecular signaling in the regeneration patterns and the regenerative processes. So, it is puzzling the researchers now, the fundamental aspects of it. So, it is a question for us also. We know very few things about this planarian regenerations. So you can, and actually they have novel medical applications also in the stem cell research, the cancer research, regenerative medicine. So the if you are studying the planarian regeneration, you can have diverse applications for the regeneration of planaria. Uh, so this is a general basic about the regeneration. And so now there are different modes in which the regeneration exists. So the regeneration, firstly, it was given by the T.H. Morgan. So he is the father of modern experimental genetics, as we all know. We all know his work on Drosophila, and the Drosophila was the first organism whose genome was known. So we know huge work has been carried out in the genetics field of Drosophila, and mostly all this signaling and everything in the regeneration, it is relating to the Drosophila genetics and whatever work has been done on Drosophila only. But there is little regenerative capacity in the case of Drosophila, but Planaria, it has tremendous regenerative potential. So there are basically two general groups of regeneration. First one is the epimorphosis, so which involves the proliferation or differentiation of the new tissue, and so no proliferation occurs, but rather pre-existing tissues are directly transformed into the new ones. So that is the epimorphosis. Okay. So Hydra is a well-studied animal. It is a well-studied example in the animal kingdom for the purpose of regeneration. and so it occurs through the direct transformation of the existing parts in the absence of cell proliferation. And even in the urodel amphibians, now I'm talking about some vertebrate examples in which you see regeneration on a great scale, which is the urodel amphibians. They are the well-known model for studying of the regenerative capacity, and the animals are capable of regrowing entire limbs without transdifferentiation. So you can see a great regenerative potential in the urodels also, but it is restricted to some part of the organism only. But this is not the case in the case of the planaria. So most of the parts, like almost 90 to 95% parts of the planaria are able to regenerate. So this gives us an excellent regenerative capacity which takes place in the planaria.
দিদি বাংলায় বলো।
Okay,
কে বলো তো?
so I will
Who
just
is speaking, madam? Mithila ma'am.
Yes.
And there someone is speaking in Bengali. Who are you? Madam, now you can continue. Someone is disturbing, that's why I am telling. No, madam.
Okay, I will just share my screen now after this brief introduction. Now I will share my screen.
Okay, madam.
Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, now visible.
Okay. So today, now I will start with my topic, which is
Now it's visible, madam.
Okay. So now I will start with my topic, which is the molecular basis of regeneration. So yeah. So the planarian platforms, they are the well-known example for their amazing regenerative capacity. So, but yet, like a lot of research hasn't been done on the regeneration in the case of planaria, and on the contrary, it has been done on hydra a lot. Okay, so basically, the regeneration in planaria, it depends upon the presence of the some stem cells. It takes place through the stem cells, which are the neoblasts. So the stem cells in humans also, like we know, we preserve the stem cells. They have high proliferative capability because they are pluripotent. So what is pluripotency? It is the capability of giving rise to new cell types. So that is the pluripotency. And so the neoblasts, these cells, they are distributed throughout the body of planaria. So when the part of worm is amputated, they are activated to reform the tissues which have been removed. So today we will just we will study what is the molecular mechanism or what is the signaling which is involved in this reformation of the new tissues which have been removed. So till now it is not entirely clear. So how this stem cells, they regenerate into specific organs. So are there any signals which are produced, or are there any different types of stem cells that forms different tissues, or it is a combination of the both stem cell bias and the local signaling used? So it is not entirely clear, but there are some hypotheses there. There is some research which has been done. So that is what I will be talking to you about. So this is the planaria, and this is its extended pharynx. So it extends its pharynx for the purpose of feeding. So pharynx is a part. There are several hypotheses regarding the pharynx. So there are some people who say that the pharynx can be regenerated, and there are some people who say that the pharynx is the only organ of the planarian system which cannot be regenerated. So now we will see stem cells as the source of new tissue formation. So it plays an important role in regeneration. We will see how. So stem cells, they have ability to maintain itself in undifferentiated state while generating mature cells of different tissues by differentiation. So by the purpose of
মানে
differentiation,
বাংলা বললে ভালো হতো।
Hello,
yes,
Mithila.
yes sir,
বাংলা বললে ভালো হতো।
Am I audible?
yes sir.
Okay. Mithila, now I will give a little bit of introduction about planaria. Then again you continue about the stem cell part.
Yes, yes,
Huh?
কে বলছো তো বাংলা বললে ভালো clear করে?
Am I audible?
yes sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mithila. Das sir, am I audible to you?
দাঁড়া, আমি একটা কথা বলে নিই দাঁড়া।
Yes, sir. You are.
Okay. So is my screen is visible to you?
Yes sir,
Yes, sir,
screen
screen is visible.
But
Wait,
wait
but sir, at least 2-3 seconds.
अच्छा,
So one person from our group talking regarding something in Bengali, say something in Bengali. So I am saying that do not say again and again regarding Bengali. You just stop your saying that Bengali, and after completion of the program, we will discuss. Okay? If you have any query, then we will discuss in Bengali. তোমার যদি সমস্যা কিছু থাকে তাহলে আমরা প্রোগ্রামটা হয়ে যাওয়ার পর বাংলায় বলবো।
Okay.
কিন্তু বারবার ধরে কে বলছো জানি না, বারবার ধরে কিন্তু বলতে চেও না যে বাংলা দ্যাট ইজ ন্যাশনাল লেভেল এন্ড ইন্টারন্যাশনাল লেভেল ওয়েবিনার। ওকে, otherwise you will remove from the group, from the meeting room also. Sisagor sir, please start.
Yes, is it my screen is visible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Just now, I'm very much thankful to my research student. She is doing a wonderful research work under my guidance on planaria and regeneration and the stem cell. Already she has stated. So, planaria is a platyhelminthes, and it is a small flatworm which is found in the fresh water. And from last 100 years, we are saying that planaria is a very good model organism that are used for regeneration purpose. But the theme behind this is it is very difficult to observe this planaria. No doubt the literature is available in the book, but the good researcher, he always goes outside in the nature and try to find out the organisms, and then he bring in the laboratory and start working as a research person and giving back to the community what is there. So like that, in my research investigation, so even I have decided that why we are not making available this knowledge to the society and started work on this planaria. It is a small microscopic animal. Here you can see on a slide, this is the size of the planaria. The body is divisible into head, trunk and tail. It is a triploblastic. And the beauty of this animal that these animal have a lot of power of regeneration. Now, a very little research work has been carried out in India. The work has been carried out in Japan, France, Italy and the Spain. But the very little work is carried out in India regarding the planarian regeneration. But just now the Mithila, she has said about the pharynx. The pharynx, it is the part of this planaria that helps in the intake of the food material. Now, how to collect this planaria? Where is now these planaria? They are always found in a marshy place.
বেরিয়ে গেছে নাকি? বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে না, দরকার নেই স্যার, ও ঠিক
Mithila, are you here?
Yes, sir.
I think sir remove. Due to heavy raining, I think connectivity problem is there.
Yes, I will just contact him.
Dear participants, wait a minute. I think he will come. Actually, due to heavy raining,
Yes, he's trying to reconnect. There is some issue. There is a lot of rain which is going on here. That is why there is a little connectivity issue which he is facing. He will reconnect soon.
So
Mithila, you just continue.
Okay, we will just wait for 2 minutes, then I will continue.
Yes.
आवाज येतोय? बरं, एक मिनिट. Is my screen is visible?
Not visible, sir.
Just
दिसते शेअर होते शेअर होते दिसते
कुठे?
Sir is not able to share the screen. Can you just make him the presenter so that he can share the screen? Hello, sir. I am not able to present my PPT.
Hello, sir.
So continue.
Sir, you make able to present my PPT.
Sir, continue without PPT. After that, we will share the PPT PDF. Okay.
So Mithila, you continue, Mithila.
So continue.
From my side, it's not able. Mithila, continue.
Okay, sir. I will share my screen again. so as I was saying, stem cells, they are the important, they play important role in the regeneration process. And okay, so they can be found in some adult tissues such as heart, brain, and bone marrow also. They are quiescent for a long period of time. Therefore, you can detect the stem cells with the help of BRDU labeling, because the quiescence, it is the main criteria for the identification of the stem cells, and that is the principle on which the BRDU labeling is based upon. So the stem cells, they are the totipotent and the pluripotent. They have the quality of totipotency and the pluripotency. So the totipotent stem cells, they can give rise to all embryonic and extra-embryonic tissues, while the pluripotent stem cells, they are able to produce all the tissues within the embryo. So this is the basic difference between the totipotent and the pluripotent stem cells. While there is one more concept, which is unipotent stem cells, they give rise only to one mature cell type. And okay, so for understanding the potentiality of the stem cells, you need to know that there are some networks of the transcription factors which are OCT34, SOX2, CMYC, then KLF4, NanoG, and which prevent differentiation and they promote the proliferation. So proliferation is a really important phenomenon for the regeneration process. We will discuss that. So it is really important. The proliferation process is really important to maintain and induce the pluripotent state of the stem cells. So, now the inside of the adult organism, mostly tissues, they maintain population of adult slow cycling stem cells that will proliferate in response to stimulating signals. So when there are some stimulating signals, then there are some slow cycling stem cells which are present, and what they do is they proliferate in response to the when they get response from the stimulating signals, they start their proliferation process and they start differentiating themselves and they terminally differentiate finally. So this regenerative capacity or this signal transduction which gives rise to the regeneration capacity has its application. It has promising targets for regenerative medicines and also the gene therapy. It also has a great application in the cancer research, as I already told. As there are several research findings, recent research findings, which indicate that the stem cells, they are involved in the development of certain types of cancer. So this is a great application for in the case of the cancer research. Okay, so the intensive research has been taking place in last several years for signaling mechanism that generates that governs this stem cell proliferation, differentiation, and the patterning during the development. So there is intensive research which is taking place nowadays. So in the development of bilateral in animals, there are variations of several pathways like TGF beta, which is also called as a transforming growth factor, then WNT Wingless and INT, then Notch protein, then there is HH, the hedgehog, then the nuclear receptor, JAK-STAT, and there are some other receptor tyrosine kinase pathways which are believed to perform bulk of all the cell signaling, and all this cell signaling is involved, and it generally is the main thing in the proliferation process of the stem cells. So even there are some pathways and the factors specifications such as Hox, Tax, and the distal and the MASH. They regulate the development in most metazoans also. So it is possible that there are subtle variations in the interaction between the elements of this toolkit signaling and patterning mechanisms, which are sufficient to determine whether the organism is able to regenerate or not. So the variation.
Can I share my slide so I can show how the regeneration takes place, so you can also explain the mechanism?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yeah.
Um, can I share my slide?
Yes, sir.
Just tell me, Mithila, whether is it visible or not.
সবই জানো আমি বড় কিছু
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Am I audible?
একই কথা সেই আমার
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm really thankful to Mithila. Now she's on the way of explaining the how the regeneration or what are the genes involved in the regeneration. So this is the planaria. Is Mithila, the slide is visible?
হ্যাঁ সত্যি কথা শুনি
Yes, sir, it is on first slide.
Okay. Yeah. Is the videos also visible?
No, sir, the video is not visible.
Video is not visible?
Yes, sir, you have to share the entire screen.
Stop sharing. Just a minute. So I can show them.
দাঁড়া এ করো না সেটা উদ্যোগ জায়গা করবে আপনি বলুন না সবকে তো ঠান্ডা রাখতে হবে না গরম করলে তো হবে না এখানে
Mithila, I think you continue because it's not able to get it. You continue, please.
Okay, sir.
ওরও অসুবিধা হচ্ছে ও ঘন ঘন আসতে যাচ্ছে হতেই পারে কিছু করার নেই
Okay, okay. Just a second, I will share my screen.
মিথিলা এখন আবার শেয়ার করতে পারছে না সমস্যার শেষ নেই আরে দাঁড়াও তো তুমি এরকম বললে কি হবে সমস্যা হচ্ছে দিচ্ছে
Yeah, continue.
Okay, as I was saying, I'm hearing my mic is on.
ও শান্তনু বিকাশ ছিল
Okay, okay. Someone's mic is on, I'm hearing my echo. Okay, fine, now I will start. So there are, so by this pathways or by some fluorescence and cytometric processes, you can determine if the organism is able to regenerate or not. So now we will study the regeneration in planaria. So the research in planaria and the regeneration of planaria was carried out in the early 1880s and 1900s. It was the Thomas Morgan or T.H. Hunt, the T.H. Morgan and the Charles Child. They carried out some studies on the planarian regeneration. So hoping to understand the mechanisms underlying this phenomenon. So the Morgan, he was the first to develop the concept of the morphogenic concentration gradient that establishes and maintains the body polarity. He discovered it in the Drosophila. So this concept proved to be valid for embryogenesis and the metamorphosis process. So it was the well-studied example for it obviously was Drosophila because Morgan studied Drosophila only. Mostly he studied Drosophila. So there are some examples of the BMP VNT hedgehog signaling pathways which are there. So during this, the main key regulatory events in the embryogenesis were described, and the molecular mechanisms of the planarian regeneration, they puzzled Morgan, and they are still poorly understood. So more research haven't been carried out in this arena. So within some last decades, the planaria, they have been rediscovered as a model organism. So generally the normally used model organisms, they are the C. elegans, Drosophila, Mus musculus. So they are the hydra for regeneration. So they are the commonly used model organisms. But planaria is a little underrated in the case of the model organisms, and we don't use planaria in like much frequency as we use the other organisms. But recently they have been rediscovered as model organisms for the studies on patterning events during the regeneration and the tissue homeostasis and the stem cell regulation. So these findings from the studies of regeneration will not only help us to understand the basic biological mechanisms in the planaria, but also they are also likely to improve our understandings of regeneration and the stem cell regulation in general. So nowadays, within last decades, there are a whole set of new methodologies which have been designed, which can help us in the study of the planarian regeneration on the cellular and molecular level. So this is how the general regeneration works in the case of planaria. If any part is amputated in the planaria, there are developing neoblasts. I have already explained about the neoblasts. There are neoblasts in the wound site. Then all the signaling cascade and the signaling pathways, they are activated, and then by proliferation and generation of new cells, there is the development of new tissue, and so the lost part, it is developed again. So this is how this is a general introduction, a general gist of how regeneration works in the planaria. So there are some molecular techniques which have been developed or which have been used to study all the signaling pathways and the stem cell proliferation. They are the BRDO labeling, flow cytometry, RNAi technique, express sequence tag, EST, then immunohistochemistry, and the microarrays. So these are some of the micro techniques which are used to study the regeneration capability of the planaria. So there are some recent findings which are also identified of conserved BMP, WNT, hedgehog signaling pathways for establishment of proper axis polarity in the regeneration of planaria. So this signaling pathways, they provide a way of establishment of the axis polarity for the regeneration in the case of planaria. So therefore the findings, as I have already told you, the regeneration in planaria will not only help us understand the basic biological mechanisms, but they can also help us in the understanding of the regeneration and the stem cell regulation in general in all the organisms, and which can be beneficial in the cancer research as well. Okay, so now we will see some points one by one. So firstly, what is the exact role? So now we know what neoblasts are. So what is the exact role of the neoblasts in the process of regeneration? So the planarian regeneration, it requires adult stem cells which are called as the neoblasts, and they have a little resemblance to that of the embryonic stem cells, and they can be specifically killed by irradiation prompted prompted that they might be the adult stem cells. Okay, so they are small cells which are almost 5 to 10 microns in size, and they have large nucleus and chromatid bodies which are present. There is cytoplasmic ribonucleoprotein complexes which are involved in the RNA processing, and they are also sometimes described as the only known mitotically active somatic cells in the adult planarians. Their distribution is quite varied. They are distributed throughout the body except two regions uh, which cannot support the regeneration. The region in front of the photoreceptors and the centrally located pharynx. So there is a hypothesis that the pharynx is not able to regenerate. So their distribution is quite varied. And then what happens within 2 to 3 days following the amputation of the planaria, unpigmented structure which is blastema, it is formed at the wound site, which gives rise to the new body parts. So the neoblasts, they just proliferate following the wounding, and there are new cells which gives rise to the blastema formation. So the injuries in the planaria, they result in the dramatic response. So the signaling that occurs between the injury site and the neoblast is so the whatever signaling happens between the injury sites and the neoblast, and whatever cascade which takes place, so it is of a great interest, and so it can be helpful in understanding the stem cells and their role in role in the regeneration. So various studies, they also indicate that the neoblasts, they proliferate following the wounding, and they are the source of new cells of blastema formation. So there are some contradictory results with respect to the spatio-temporal pattern of proliferation as well. So you can see the pharynx here, and distribution of neoblasts can be easily visualized in this image. So you can see the fluorescent spots, which are the neoblasts, and they are not present in this almost like the head region or the region which has photoreceptors, and also in the pharynx. That's why pharynx has more regenerative capacity. So the neoblast, there are different subsets of it which were identified by the process which is FSCS, fluorescence activated cell sorting. So this is a type of flow cytometry, as you all must be knowing. So they depend upon the light intensity and the fluorescence phenomenon, and therefore there are using some vital dyes such as calcine and some other dyes. So by this, the two subsets of neoblasts, they were identified, which were X1 and X2. So X1, they are 10 microns in size almost, and they comprise of 2 to 8% of the total cell number, and they are proliferating cells which like with the help of that and with the development of the PCR or the quantitative PCR, it was developed, and it was known to us, and so they express genes from the PY-like proteins and some other proteins which are required for proper neoblast differentiation. And so the findings, they also suggest that the planarian neoblasts, they are population of adult stem cells, but their potentiality, heterogeneity, and the cell cycle dynamics, they remain to be elucidated. So a recent study, it has also identified there are different categories of the neoblast descendants that provide useful tools for some future analysis of planarian neoblast differentiation. So now we will come to the gene expression and the changes which are associated with the wound healing. So in Drosophila melanogaster, morphogenetic events involving tissue movement such as embryonic dorsal closure have been the models for the wound repair. So the wound repair we have studied from the embryonic dorsal closure from the Drosophila. And so in this wound closure on wound healing, the JUN amino terminal kinase JNK signaling and AP1 are the crucial for successful closure. So using this system and some hippo signaling pathways such as Yoki and WARTS, as well as the EGFR signaling, they have been identified as factors that mediate this intestinal stem cell proliferation following the wounding process. So similar founding has also been found in the case of mouse models, and importantly, a conserved wound repair pathway has been identified, which involves this function and which leads into the activation of the ERK in both Drosophila as well as mice. So the intestinal stem cells which are present in the Drosophila midgut, they are really proved to be a valuable system to study the wound induced or the repairing of the wound which is generated. So this is the WT and irradiation and the calcium dye which is used to study the flow cytometry processes. And here you can see the lead division progeny, Oli division progeny, and the neoblast and their arrangement in the case of planaria. Okay, so now to distinguish the genes from the wounding that are immune response associated genes, the gene expression studies were performed for that. So from this study, what was the inference in the wounded macrophage deficient mouse pups? They reveal a cluster of almost 100 activation genes. It was seen in the mouse, and they encode the transcription factors that were upregulated early and transiently at the wound. So there are some immediately early genes such as EGR1 versus 1, then the kappa B8. So these are some of the immediate early genes which were identified, and there were along with the early effector genes, there was a late effector cluster as well of some genes, and these are upregulated at a later time than the activation gene, and the signaling components and the structural genes required. So these are some of the signaling components and the structural genes which are required for the cell migration purpose. So because for proliferation, cell migration is also an essential component. And the final cluster of inflammation independent genes, they play an important role in the contact inhibition, such as ephyrin receptors and their ligands, as well as the Notch receptors. So in this study, no analysis on the functional role of identified gene were performed, leaving open one question: what role exactly do these genes play for the during the response of wounding? So that was one question which was left by this study which was carried out. So now we will study the genetic basis of the regeneration. So the local changes in the regeneration during the early phases of regeneration reveal that there are almost 356 genes which are consistently expressed under the normal conditions. So they can be tested by employing RNA interference knockdown and by using the ability of the planarian to feed as simple way of measuring how well its pharynx has regenerated. Then the 20 genes, they affect the feeding behavior significantly, and the subset of genes specifically affect how pharynx formed and functioned. But mostly,
Mithila, I'm disturbing little bit just me. Now, how this feeding mechanism and how the genes are activated? For this, I share the slide. Just tell me whether it's visible or not.
Sir, one thing, please give time to Mithila to
Okay.
end her presentation.
Okay.
That will be better, sir.
Yeah. The network has arrived, so that's what.
No, okay, sir. First, let her end.
Okay. Mithila, continue.
Then, sir, you will start. Okay, sir.
okay, sir.
थोड़ा डिस्टर्ब करते हैं मेरे का बड़ा झमेला है যখন হচ্ছে তখন ভালো হচ্ছে চলো
So there are 20 genes which affect the feeding behavior significantly, and so other genes that affect the feeding behavior, they did not affect the tissue regeneration. and they affected how the pharynx was formed and how it was functioned. And so there is one gene or the transcription factor, which is a Fockhead transcription factor, which is called as the FOXA, which is seen not only in planaria but it is seen in some other organisms also. This is the regeneration of the head fragments and trunk fragments which is seen, and you can see the neoblasts also here, and the anterior and posterior axis of the planaria, and the FOXA gene which regulates all the processes. So the Fockhead proteins which are encoded by this FOXA gene family, they have a really important role in specifying the tissues of digestive system of invertebrates and some vertebrates. So simple sea anemone, the FOXA, it has the cells which go down to form the pharynx in the case of the sea anemone, and in the roundworm C. elegans, which is a model organism. So the FOXA is specifying the different cell types which are found in the pharynx during the development. And in some vertebrates, the FOXA genes, they have switched from regulating the pharynx and the entry to the point of intestine to regulating the cells of intestine. So this now in this pattern and the pattern of the evolution of phylum that we all know, you can find a general pattern down here, and you can trace the evolutionary trend of this FOXA gene, which is you can easily mark this pattern here. So the FOXA may have played a fundamental evolutionary role in coordinating the formation of structures which are needed to ingest and to process the food in the multicellular organisms. So the planarian FOXA, it is expressed in developing mature pharynx and also in the scattered neoblast cells that cluster at the site of amputation. So in absence of FOXA, the neoblasts are still present, but they fail to migrate to the amputation site and initiate the process of regeneration. But in the case of C. elegans, equivalent to FOXA, such as PHF4 is seen, which binds directly to the wide range of genes and affect their structure and function. So it plays a fundamental role in specifying the pharynx cell fate in the case of the C. elegans. So since cell behavior and the cell fate, they are closely intertwined, so they depend upon each other. So it is very hard to separate these functions. So a more detailed comparison of the FOXA at different stages of planarian regeneration, it would reveal more about the fundamental role of this transcription factor. So this is one area which can be focused for in the case of the planarian research, which is the FOXA genes or the FOXA transcription factors, and its like development for the process, like in their involvement in the pharynx and the migration of the neoblasts. So thank you for patiently lending me your ears and listening patiently. You can contact me on given mail ID for any questions and doubts. Thank you. So over to you, Shirsagar sir. You can continue.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mithila, for a wonderful presentation. And I'm sorry that due to network problem, I could not share slide. But this is planaria. It gives a wonderful journey for us, for researcher, and that has opened new awareness. Just I would like to share the few glimpses of the planarian regeneration with you.
দেখাতে পারবে আগে? আর স্যার পান্ডুরামের শুরু হয়ে গেল।
No, sir. Not visible, sir.
ও হবে না ওটা।
Just a minute.
পড়ে এসে দেখাচ্ছ তুমি দেখুন।
Uh,
ওর নেট নেই বুঝতে ওর নেট প্রবলেম হচ্ছে করেছে তোমার
So your presentation, you are not audible.
করছে দাঁড়া দাঁড়া ওরা আছে তো তুমি তুমি তোমাকে
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Is my screen is visible to all?
No, sir.
ও বেরিয়েছে আবার
An error. Just a minute. Just a minute. Due to little bit of network problem,
Sir,
yes.
sir, I think it's already 8 or so.
Uh,
I
just-
I am requesting Dr. Okay, sir. Oh, okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, is it visible?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay. So, ma'am, just I would like to share. This is a plan area, and is the
Sir,
screen
this
is
is
visible?
first slide. Sir, this is your first slide, and
Now, madam, this is how the plan area feeds. That we have taken the photo video at 1 o'clock in the night. So this pharynx, it is present in the middle part of the body. It everted out. It is a nocturnal animal, and taking the video of this plan area regeneration is very difficult. But we got this how the plan area feeding takes place. Is the slide is visible? Now, when you amputate, there is a wound healing takes place, but the cut little bit below from the pharynx, then the animal start showing the regeneration process. This is how we have carried out the work. Just I wanted to tell you that when you go for amputation of this planaria start giving signals to each other. This is called as a dorsoventral signal and ventrodorsal signals, and that signals come from the head region. And because of this signaling mechanism, the planaria shows a regeneration process. Now, I wanted to show you how the cell adhesion or the cell signaling takes place. Mithila, is the slide is visible?
No, sir.
No, it's not visible.
No, sir.
it's
First slide.
It's just 4 slide.
Is this video is not visible?
no
Hello.
আরে দাঁড়াও না
Hello,
গো, অত তোরা হইলে হ্যাঁ
Ada diste.
ब्लांक
स्क्रीन आता बघा बरं. हा, एकच चालूच ठेवा. हा, आता दिसतंय ते डॉर्सोवेंट्रल. ओके, दिस इज द डॉर्सोवेंट्रल signaling, just I wanted to show you cell addition. Mithila is this. So, dear researcher, so here we have done an experiment regarding cell adhesion and the cell signaling. This planaria gives signals, dorsoventral signal by the head region. Now this is regarding hand amputation and the transplant experiment. This is regarding the wound healing process, how the wound healing takes place because of involvement of molecules. This is the photographs of this.
So 97 that side वरती allocated.
बरं ठीक आहे मग एक समअप कर नेटवर्क नसल्यामुळे तू समअप कर मग दिसत नाही.
Okay, so there is a really network issue which is going on in Pune due to the heavy rain. So, obviously, some of this session that the regeneration in planaria, it is a great thing. It can be a great. It has great research applications and it can be looked upon by various fields. Like it has applications in all the fields, especially the cancer research. So, most of you most of the people and the professors, they should pursue their research interests in planaria. And thank you for providing us an opportunity to tell you all what exactly we are doing and what the stem cell research and the planarian stem cell research and regenerational research is. So I'm thankful. I'm really thankful to everyone who are attending the meeting today. So thank you a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Mithila, thank you very much. Due to heavy rain and the network problem, I could not share the slide. So I'm really thankful to Das sir and thankful to Mithila. Now, sir, I handed over to Das sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mithila, for nice presentation. Due to heavy raining in Maharashtra, even in West Bengal, the problem is going on. So, dear participants, wait. And for next webinar related information I am giving you. The next webinar related information on environment and development in short form ended on 11th December 2021. Resource person is Professor Dr. Navakumar Mondal. Sir is from Department of Environmental Science, the University of Bardhaman, West Bengal. Sir's topic is converting waste to wealth. So converting waste to wealth is a big topic. Sir actually from chemistry division and chemistry teacher, but he is working in the Department of Environmental Science, Department of Environmental Science as Professor, University of Bardhaman. And after that, on 12th, that is next day, Sunday, we have another webinar. This is the same, that is related waste management by any kind of management, including one Japanese model. Madam Phoebe Paiva, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, St. Joseph College, Allapuja, that is, Aleppi in Kerala. Madam will deliver the lecture on 12th. So 11th Saturday and 12th Sunday we will complete the series of NDEP. Similarly, for biodiversity series, we will take another date, that is 18th December 2021. Dr. Sangeeta Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Bahana College, Madam will deliver the lecture. Ma'am's topic can organize can organic farming feed the uh, collective world. Sir, from Jorhat, Assam. So this is the theme, and on 18th December we will complete the biodiversity series. So dear participants, please be with us on 11th December and 12th December. We will provide the feedback link, and at the end of the program we will provide separate feedback link for series certificate. So don't worry regarding your certificate, we will provide the certificate, and in case of biodiversity series, we will provide the certificate separately at the end of the program. But remember the theme in mind that on 22nd and 23rd we have one national level conference. You know the name of the conference is National Conference on Biodiversity Building. That is new theme. That is globally this is going on, biodiversity building and natural resource management. So as a short form, that is NC, and then National Conference on Biodiversity Building and Natural Resource Management. So in this conference, our organizing partner members are Botany Department of Shiva Bharati Mahavidyalaya, Kapgadi, Jharkhand, West Bengal. Departments of Botany, my college, Government General Degree College, you know that is Lalgarh Government College, both are synonymously used. And similarly, along with other three departments, one is Zoology Department of Obinali Singham University, that is deemed to be university, and Botany Departments of Obinali Singham University, similarly Biochemistry, Biotechnology and Bioinformatics departments of the same university. So 5 departments we are organizing such kind of conference, and each day we have 4 resource persons, half an hour each lecture, and after that presentation. So please submit your full length paper or review articles to us for publications in the UGC Cat 2 journal and in the ISBN book form. You can present here without any publications, but before that actually you should have to submit full length paper. Okay, we will publish this paper in the proceedings form. So please go to the group and collect your link for the next webinar, event, next program. Thank you. Now the session is for discussion, and after that I think Associate Professor Madam from Bhopal, Career College Bhopal, Dr. Rajani Gautam will give the vote of thanks. Now the discussion session. Pompi ma'am, please run the session.
Thank you, Das sir. So here so many researchers from zoology background and teachers are also present. So if you have any question in your mind, you can ask sir and Mithila ma'am. Anybody have any question? In chat box there is no question regarding the session on Planitia. So anybody any question in your mind? No question. So there is no question answer session. And now I would like to request Rajani Gautam ma'am to deliver vote of thanks. As today's resource person sir Shirsagar sir is unable to present her presentation, Mithila ma'am take the charge of this session, and Mithila ma'am for run the session. Really we are very thankful that this program is in full becomes a full program, though there is so many problem of network. So thank again Mithila ma'am and Ravindra sir for arranging such type of program by 12. So Rajani ma'am, are you here?
Okay ma'am. Good evening to one and all present here. Myself Dr. Rajani Gautam, Associate Professor, Career College Bhopal. I feel proud to get an opportunity to prepare vote of thanks at this online platform. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Mithila described stem cells as source of new tissue generation. She has explained the subject matter in a very interesting way, which is also very easy to understand because of her excellent communication skills. I can say that this type of communication can be made possible only when a person has in-depth knowledge about the subject. I would like to congratulate Dr. Shi Shagar, although he is not able to present his presentation. Uh, and I would like to appreciate Dr. Debrata Das and Dr. Patty Bush to organize such excellent webinars which are very useful for all the participants. Actually, he is setting an example to follow him and contribute to understand the difficult topics in very simple way. My special thanks to Drishtikon Organization and Flora and Fauna Asia Facebook group for providing necessary support and guidance to organize this excellent webinar. It was really difficult to organize this webinar without their help, inspiration and cooperation. And last but not the least, I would like to thank all the enthusiastic participants who, in spite of their busy schedule throughout the day, have taken time to attend the webinar and help to make this webinar a great success. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Rajni Gautam ma'am, for delivering lot of thanks, and thank all the participants for your presence, because today there is a total network issue, and it is very problematic for all of us. But today's program is over. So, thank you to all of you. And feedback link is here. So please give your feedback for this session. And one participant is asking for, I think, one question. Bikram Pradhan, you are asking about coming our conference, and in this conference you can join through the link, and please, are you in Telegram group? Bikram Pradhan sir? Bikram Pradhan sir, are you in Telegram group? Hello, Bikram Pradhan sir, are you in Telegram group? If you are in Telegram group, then you can easily have the link of this webinar for registration, not webinar, conference link, and every link is there in our Telegram group. And because our Telegram group is a permanent group, so please join the Telegram group.
Already posted here. Link already posted here. Just click the link and just you register yourself. This link is for conference.
So conference link is again posted in this webinar chat box. So you can also register through this link. So officially today's program is over, and good night to all, and we will be again on here in this Google meeting room on the next Saturday at the same time.